Sassy Onions, this is Christy Chanel, and I wanted to come to you with a quick video on trust. And I got the idea from watching Brene Brown, which I will link in the description below, and her talks. It seems that every talk that I've listened to that she's given has touched me in some way. I mean, I've had that light bulb moment. And so I encourage you to go take a look and see how you can relate to some of the things that she talks about. So I'm just going to give you some key points that I picked up on her trust video. And basically she compares your friendships to a marble friendship jar. And all relationships that you have either contribute to the jar or they take away from the jar. And the way you get a marble is small moments through time that build up to create the filling of the jar. So it's not some grand, profound moment of, oh, I can trust this person. Oh, it's time. It's building up trust. It's building up time. Throwing the marbles in. Maybe by a phone call, or there's many different ways to build up trust. I mean, trust with your boss, trust with your children, trust with your family, trust with your friends, trust with your husband, spouse, boyfriend. It all revolves around the same thing. And she compares it to the word braving. And she uses each letter to kind of dissect the word trust because we generalize it most of the time. And we can't really pick it apart very easily. So she tries to do that in a way that we can kind of understand it and fix certain things that may not be there. Whether it's with them or it's with yourself. A lot of people don't even trust themselves. So how are you supposed to trust them? They can't trust themselves. So anyway, it starts off with the letter B. The word is braving. So the letter B is the first one, and it's boundaries. It's setting boundaries, being clear what your boundaries are, and living by them, and not allowing other people to step over them. So, and them setting the boundaries and you not stepping over them either. I guess it's a lot harder than I thought. I mean, not necessarily for me. If somebody's clear with what they want and don't want, I'm going to respect that. But in my last situation where I had to let go of a friend, that boundary was not respected. And unfortunately, that was the deal breaker for me. So boundaries are key in setting them in all relationships in your life. Reliability. That's being there consistently, not just one time and then falling off and then being there again. It's consistently being there. When people go through issues and problems, it's not like an hour. I mean, it's usually a time frame in their life that they're having a difficult time. So you need to be there even maybe when they don't ask for it. So that's really, really important. Reliability. A stands for accountability. So if you make a mistake as a friend, which we all do because we're all human, you need to be accountable for it. You need to own it. I mean, that's one of the character flaws that I hate in a person. And I don't use the word hate lightly. But I mean, at work, if somebody makes an error and then tries to blame it on somebody else, why would you do that? Own it, fix it, and do it right the next time. So accountability, key, accountability. V stands for vault. That's kind of an obvious one. When somebody shares information with you, you need to hold it sacred because they're sharing private information with you. Just the same as when you share information with them, they need to hold it sacred to them. How many times have you seen someone come up to you and say, oh my gosh, I think Mary is cheating on her husband. She told me last night. What's the first thing you think of when they tell you that? This person, you cannot trust. Because if they'll do it to them, they're going to do it to you. So, red flag. Huge red flag. The next one is integrity. That's basically having the values that you live by, but not just saying these values, it's actually living by these values. I know that I want someone that I trust in my life that, you know, doesn't just say they're going to do something, they actually do it. I mean, that's a big deal to me. I want to hold myself accountable for that. You know, I don't want to just be words. I want to follow through with how I feel about something and what I say that I'm going to do. It's holding to a promise. when you're in a marriage or a relationship, if they say, I'm going to change that light bulb tomorrow, that light bulb better be changed tomorrow. Because if it's not changed tomorrow, I'm not going to believe the next thing you say that you're going to do. You lose my trust. The next one is non-judgment, which is another big thing. For a long time, I kept to myself with my issues and my problems. I don't know if it was just shame because I was in the situation that I was in. I'm not sure. I mean, it's a lot of different mixed emotions, but the one thing that I knew that I could do was go to my friend and know that I wouldn't be judged by it. But I was judging myself. So a lot of this is self-trust, so that was my own obstacle that I needed to overcome. But you never want to be You never want to be judgmental with anybody across the board. I mean, you don't know what they're going through. How are you going to judge their situation? You don't know what I'm going through unless I tell you. So obviously, being non-judgmental, it's huge. It allows you to be vulnerable with someone, to know that they're not going to judge you for your mistakes. It's a big deal. The last one is generosity. It's being generous with your assumption. So basically, if I don't follow through with something, but I've filled your jar with trust over the years, be generous with your assumption to know that I didn't do it to hurt you, and talk to me about it instead of waiting for me to call you and then saying, you know what, you didn't do this for me, so I'm not going to do this for you. It's picking up the phone and say, you know what, you really hurt me that you weren't there for me the other day. And I know you were busy, but it hurt me. So I'm going to be generous with my assumption that you didn't mean to hurt me because I know you. So that's what that word means. All of this that I've talked about, you need to also remember it about yourself. If you don't trust yourself, how is somebody else going to trust you? You have to love yourself. You have to be able to be vulnerable in your connections and to know that you're good enough, you're imperfect, and it's okay. And to connect with people, you need to be vulnerable. So I just wanted to share that really quick, and I hope that you take a chance to go, or take a moment. I'm talking so fast. Slow down, Jersey girl. Take a moment to check her out. She's pretty amazing, and I am just tapping the surface. So go take a look. All right, you guys have a great day. Bye.